What is up, Janksters? It's your boy Graham, also known as HamHawks42 on the internet, and today we are playing Alchemy Best of One. And that Alchemy Best of One deck is going to be built around Naya because, frankly, the most recent Alchemy set, the Alchemy New Capenna set, brought with it a ton of incredibly powerful Naya cards. And I want to share those with you here today. We have Arming Gala is one. At the beginning of your end step, creatures you control and creature cards in your hand, library, and graveyard perpetually get +1/+1. You're putting a +1/+1 counter on all of your things. Every card that I mean, they're not counters, but it behaves that way, where everything gets +1/+1. And when I say everything, I mean everything. Cards in your hand, cards in your library, cards, creatures in play, I mean, and graveyard. Even the creatures in your graveyard, you can reanimate cards and they come back bigger than when they went in there. It's insane. And so Arming Gala is absolutely fantastic, but it is a 5-drop, and it's a 5-drop that does nothing the turn it comes into play until your end step. So that's something to keep in mind. We also have another card that I think is the most busted one that came out of the new Alchemy deck, or Alchemy set, and that is Cabaretti Revels. This is a 3-mana enchantment that when it hits the board, again, theoretically does nothing unless you follow it up with a creature spell, because it says whenever you cast a creature spell, seek a creature card with lesser mana value and put it onto the battlefield. That's for free. You just get that. Whenever you cast a creature, just go grab another one. Is it just me, or is that absolutely insane? I think this card is truly busted, and so naturally we built a deck around it to see and like really experiment how busted is it. And frankly, I think it's quite strong, to say the least. I think it's very strong. We also have Back Alley Gardener. This is one of the mythics from the set. This is the mythic Cabaretti card from the set. It has Alliance. Whenever one or more other creatures enters the battlefield under control, seek a land card, then put it onto the battlefield tapped. This ability triggers only once each turn. So we have Back Alley. So we have Cabaretti Revels. We have Back Alley Gardener. We just play a creature. We get another creature and we get a land. It's just crazy good value. And so what are the creatures? The creatures in the deck, we have quite a few. Tenacious Pup is our 1-drop that we're gonna see this card a lot, because every time we play a 2-drop with Cabaret Revels down, we just get Tenacious Pup, and whenever it enters the battlefield, we gain life, and the next creature that we cast comes out bigger and badder. So that's nice. We also have Gala Greeters. Just this card's great. It just does great things when creatures enter the battlefield, and we have a lot of creatures entering the battlefield here. So all great things. Racketeer Boss. This is another new one from Alchemy. It's a 3/2 for 2 that when it enters the battlefield, choose up to 2 creature and or planeswalker cards in your hand. They perpetually gain when you cast a spell. Create a treasure token. Now, it's not a tap treasure token, so you can use it the turn it enters. So that whenever we cast creatures now, we're getting lands, we're getting treasures, we're getting other creatures. You get the idea. The whole point is to throw 3, 4, 5-drop creatures and just get just crazy value out of it. Speaking of crazy value, we also have Ropeline Attendant. This is yet another one of these Alchemy cards, and it has the ability, when it enters the battlefield, creature cards in your hand perpetually gain. When this creature enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 green and white citizen creature token. So we're now casting creatures, seeking lands, creating creature tokens. Gala Greeters is just going nuts. So it's beautiful. You can do some crazy good things. We also have 3 Brutal Cathars, because that's removal on a creature. So we're casting a 3-drop creature, triggering all of our things, and removing our opponent's threats. It's just good. It just fits exactly what we want to do. We have Toski and Jetmir as our 4-drops. Incredibly powerful. So Toski is great because it just draws us a bunch of cards for attacking. We were going to be attacking anyway, so great. Give me some more cards. Because the more cards we have, the more mana we're ramping into, the more creatures we can cast out, the more crazy triggers we can get. It's beautiful. It helps restock our hand in a beautiful way. And Jetmir is our Embercleave for the whole team. When we have all of these creatures on board, that just triggers Jetmir and just creates, well, it goes from putting our opponent in a difficult position to putting them in a hopeless one. That's Jetmir's job. That's the main goal of Jetmir in this deck. We also have Rabble Rousing. We have a ton of creatures that we're going to be putting a ton of creatures on the board. Rabble Rousing helps put even more creatures on the board, and it pays us off for having those creatures. So it's great. Rabble Rousing is a really cool card. If you're not familiar, definitely give this thing a go. It's got Hideaway 5. Whenever you attack with 1 or more creatures, create that many 1/1 green and white citizen creature tokens. Then if you control 10 or more creatures, you may play the exiled card without paying its mana cost. If you get Jetmir under a Rabble Rousing, the game is often over, because all you need to do is attack with 5 creatures. Boom, you get 10 creatures, and that goes to And then that brings Jetmir online, and it immediately satisfies the maximum amount that Jetmir cares about, which is 9. And then creatures get +3/+0, gain vigilance, trample, and double strike. That's it. That's usually enough to end the game. We have Arming Gala, which I mentioned. When we also have Maja, Bretagard Protector. This is an especially cool card for a number of reasons. One, is a 5-drop. If we have Cabaretti Revels down and we cast Maja, there is a chance we will spin into Jetmir or Toski or a Brutal Cathar. We can, or a Back Alley Gardener. We can get some really good creatures. We can revel good creatures out with Maja. That's nice. It's not a guarantee because the sought card is random, so that's something to keep in mind. However, Maja also gives all other creatures we control +1/+1, and whenever a land enters the battlefield under our control, we create a 1/1 white human warrior creature token. Again, we're getting triggers every time creatures enter the battlefield. We're getting triggers when lands enter the battlefield. With Back Alley Gardener is online, Maja just immediately feeds that because the creature enters, a land is grabbed, another creature enters. It's nutty, and so she actually fits the deck beautifully. So that's the deck. This is an Alchemy best of 1 deck, like I mentioned. We are going to be running this out into the ladder and seeing if Naya Ridiculousness has what it takes to tangle in the current Alchemy meta. To be honest, I haven't been playing much Alchemy recently, so this is going to be an experience. We're going to see. Yeah, and so thank you so much for checking out the video. If you enjoy this, please like and subscribe. They help the channel in a just huge way. I can't stress that enough. And I also have a Patreon. If you are interested in possibly getting involved with that, there's a link in the description below. It helps me out a ton. And if I'm honest, if more people sign up for the Patreon or subscribe to my Twitch channel and help support the content, I will be able to create more of it. So that helps a ton. And I'm not being hyperbolic. Like, my goal is to actually get enough money so I can quit my job and take more time to make more content. I'm not just saying that to try to guilt you into supporting me, because that's not my goal. I want this stuff to be free. And so if you can't support, or if you frankly don't want to, that's fine. Thank you for being here. That alone is enough. But anyway, all the shilling aside, all the begging aside, let's get into some gameplay. Let's see what we can do with this just Naya Revels ridiculousness. And yeah, let's get big and explosive, because that's what this deck's trying to do. I don't love the 2 lands here, but they can play out the roleplay and Attendant. And if we get into a red source, we're going to be fine. If we don't, we do have Cathar. I'm going to keep this. I'm going to risk it for the various and sundry biscuits. I'm going to farm that. I mean, well, it's a land. I'll take it. Could be a lot worse. Forsaken Crossroads, we can name red, and we went second, so we do have the opportunity to have it come into play untapped. Sweet. All right, cool. Let's do that. Let's do that. All right, sweet. Go bam and a bam. Yeah, up to 2 creatures and no planeswalkers. All right, cool. So next turn we can jam the Back Alley Gardener and get a treasure token. That's just nice. I like that. It's good value. I like value. Big fan. Big old fan. Offer the trade. I'm very surprised they took that. I'm very surprised they took that, because that's going to deny them a treasure token next turn. If I were in their position, I would have let that through all day. I mean, I don't know what they're trying to set up for. Sanctuary Warden's going to the graveyard. This is a Reanimator. This is Boros Reanimator. They're going to tee up to an Invoke Justice. It's my guess anyway. We'll see. We'll see if they get there before we crush them. Anyway, just saying. Looks like they're debating on whether or not to trade the Back Alley Gardener, which is fair. Next turn, because of that treasure token that we got, we will have the opportunity to jam Rabble Rousing. Rabble. And I think we do that. We do just that, because then we can attack with the Back Alley Gardener, create a citizen creature token, trigger the Back Alley Gardener, and go grab a land. Feels pretty good. This is a terrible hit off Rabble Rousing. Actively awful. But what you gonna do? I'm gonna cry about it. All right, anyway. There we go. Gardener getting some work done. All right, Reflection is live. They have 5 mana. If they are going for the Invoked Justice, I can't help but notice that they only have 3 white sources. That is very, very relevant, if that is in fact what they're going for. Which, to be honest, I'd be kind of surprised if it's not at this point. Brutal Cathar. Gonna do some stuff. Gonna hit the old Keekers. They got the Dragon's Fire, sure. Unfortunate. Just poop out a couple citizens. Sure, they're gonna block the 1, but we got 2, so whatever. The citizen just replaces itself straight up, which is nice. That's Sun Not Pass. That is another white source. Now, if they have access to the Invoke Despair, they can Invoke Justice rather. They can rip it. Sanctuary Warden comes out. Here we go. Let's do the thing. Next turn, we can Rabble Rousing. If we hit Jetmir, we're golden. If we don't, we're kind of in a bad spot. 9/9 Sanctuary Warden with 2 shield counters. That's pretty good. Okay, they removed 1 shield counter, but still, like, you're still not in a great position here. Sanctuary Warden's pretty darn good, especially when you can Kiki-Jiki it and draw more cards and make more citizens. And draw even more cards. Wow, that was actually a really good turn for our opponent. Turns out having a Kiki-Jiki on board is surprisingly powerful. Crazy, right? Who would have thought? That Kiki-Jiki is a wildly good card. I'm not seeing any Jetmirs. It's mildly problematic. Tusky. So we can attack with 4 creatures. We lose the back alley gardener if we do that. We create... you know what? I'm going for it. Risking for the biscuit. Let's go. We get a Cabaretti Revels online. We get a Gala Greeters online. And that brings us a Tenacious Pup online as well. And if any of these creatures connect... We also are popping the shield for the Sanctuary Warden. That's not irrelevant. It's gonna draw us 2 cards with the Revels and the with the Revels and the Rousing up. Brutal Cathar, great job. We don't have the mana for it this turn. As long as we survive next turn, I think we're gonna be okay. This is actually pretty sick. This is also gonna come in with the Tenacious Pup buff, which is pretty sweet. I like that. Crap, we're dead. Had they Kiki'd the Sanctuary Warden, we would just literally be dead here. Or no, they had to tap out. Never mind. Don't mind me. They didn't have the mana for it. But swinging to an Invoke Justice, that's going to allow them to put more counters on Lorehold or the Warden. Yeah, we're dead. Truly unfortunate. Them having Velomachus and having that 7 mana available did us in. Ah, so unfortunate. We were just about to do the thing. Yeah. Bummer, yo. All right, let's go on to the next game. I see double Revels with Maja. If we can draw in some more land and the Forsaken Crossroads can help us scry for that, this could get out of hand. I like it. We're going to give up the Tenacious Puff on... Tenacious Puff? No, Tenacious Pup. We're gonna not get the Tenacious Pup on 1, but that's okay. Another Revels? Okay, this is super greedy. But I kind of love it. Let's get our scry on. Jetmir's Garden. Yes, we take that. We absolutely take that. So next turn, we play the Jetmir's Garden. We play Tenacious Pup. Turn after that, we start just jamming Revels. We start jamming Revels. We're also going to be scrying. Well, no, the Forsaken Crossroads can't scry this next turn. We got to play it out, but that's okay. But she turns on the Pup. I'm glad that pulled the removal. Pup's job is done. I'm totally okay with Tenacious Pup pulling removal. And drawing another land there is great. This Forsaken Crossroads comes down as white, so we have access to Maja if we draw 1 more land soon. Alright, they're showing the Obscura storefront. Let's see if they go grab a blue source, and they do. They are full on... They're going to be a white source. We're going to get our scry on. Yeah, actually, Toski's pretty sweet. Toski's actually the 4-drop we needed so that we can double Revels next turn. That actually is going to be pretty dope. All right, we have 2 Rebels online. Revels. And on top of that, Toski's uncounterable. Oh, come on, opponent! Where you going? Ah, come on. What are you doing? We were about to have some fun. There are only 2 Cabaretti Revels on the field. I don't see the problem. All right, our opponent knows what's up. I can't blame him. Let's go on to the next game. I say 3 lands, Revels, Jetmir, and a Cathar. I say we go for it. Risk it for the various biscuits and see what happens. Now, not having a 1 or 2 drop is mildly problematic, but mildly at best. This is going to come down as a white source. I'm gonna get our Scry on. Arming Gala. I like Arming Gala. Not here, though. I don't think it's going to quite give us what we need. We need more creatures. At the end of the day is really what's going on. Acquisitions Expert. Sure. I'm going to get greedy. I'm giving you my Brutal Cathar. I'm going to get hella greedy. That could have been the biggest mistake I could possibly have made. We will see. Time will tell. I want to go Revels into Jetmir. That's what I want to do. Jetmir alone is going to put 3 bodies on board. Alright, we're going to need to draw a land in the next 2 draws. And they just keep attacking our hand, so it is what it is. Well, or another Revels, sure, why not? They have another Mind Rot effect. I'm going to be very frustrated, but it is what it is. We have 2 Revels on board. At this point, if we stick a creature, it's going to be nice. We're going to get good value. And next turn, if we don't get another land, Swarm Saboteur, that's an alchemy card from Kamigawa. 2/2 Death Toucher that makes Virus Beetles. Okay, they cast out a Virus Beetle, make us discard a card. I'm going to dump the Revels in the hopes that we draw a land. Jetmir, we're reveling with the Nexus of Revels himself. Tenacious Pup, alright. Back Alley Gardener, triggers. Oh, there we go, the value. Yes! We're doing it. That felt good. We just put 12 power with Vigilance on board. I'll take it. If we top deck any creatures here, we're going to be golden. Like a Maja off the top would be, just primo. Rabble Rousing also would be pretty good. Yeah, Jetmir's the key. If you got a kill spell, Jetmir's where you want to go. 100% all day. And we still have the Tenacious Pup buff back. Our next creature is going to get the Tenacious P buff. Yeah, they're going to get rid of Jetmir. That's correct. Like, just 100% that is the correct thing to do. No attacks. They could have attacked with the Saboteur. That wouldn't have been bad. I mean, it could have been bad for us, but it would have been a smart move on their part. We have a bit of a standstill. I could have held that land to pull more discard effects, but at this point, we're just in top deck mode. And this deck doesn't draw a lot of cards with the exception of Toski. If we're able to get Toski online, that can change, but if not... Actually, if we top deck a Toski right now, I'd be pretty jazzed. Not gonna lie. Go ahead, create more Virus Beetles. Enjoy. Graveyard Trespasser, that card's annoying. It's just everywhere right now. It's another one of those cards that you just see across formats. If somebody's playing black, they probably have it. It's just really good. Toski, hey, I was just talking about you. What up, bud? And you're going to be vigilant because of the Tenacious Pup buff. And we're going to get a Gala Greeters. I like that. Conjures up a land, another Back Alley Gardener. This is going to create... let's put a counter on you. And Toski's going to enter. We're going to get a couple more triggers. Let's gain some life. We're good on mana, so I'm not worried about the treasure token. Get another Triome. No big deal. Let's attack with the Back Alley Gardener. They're probably going to chump it with the Virus Beetle, but that's okay. They can also double block it here, but that would kill the Graveyard Trespasser. Totally worth it. I want to get that thing off the board. I'm willing to make that trade. Wow, they're going... Okay. I was about to say, they are committed to killing this thing. I want to get the Trespasser off the board. It's easily the biggest threat. Yeah, a couple 1/1s and a 1/2. These little 1/1s and 1/2s, I do not care about them. We will run them over. I'm not worried about it. And actually, we're not even using our graveyard for anything necessarily, but the Graveyard Trespasser pings are super annoying. An Unsuited Pleasure, so they're going to draw a card from our deck. That actually could be bad. If they get their hands on a Jetmir with all these, or a Rabble Rousing with all these little things that they got going on, that could really hurt us. That said, if they conjure up like a Tenacious Pup or a Gardener, it's not going to make that big of a difference. Ropeline Attendant, it's not amazing, but it's going to get us another pup. It's going to get us 2 more pups, actually, which is pretty nice. And gives us just a whole mess of triggers. I like a mess of triggers. It's nice. Then the deck out with some lands. Let's go ahead and have this come in as a green source. Get a scry on. Maja. We take that. Oh, we take that. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Seeking does not shuffle the library, so we should still have Maja on top, but I noticed that it's not visible anymore, so that'll be interesting to see. Max value on all the things. I like that. We're going to attack with Toski because we have to. However, Toski is vigilant, which is nice. Vigilant Toski is pretty brutal. And it has trample because of the pup buff, so we draw a card. Is this going to be... Yeah, it is Maja. Yes! Yes! Let's go! We're doing it! Alright. We got the board state we were looking for. Crazy wide. They're going to play out of their own back alley Gardener that they stole from us earlier with the Undercity Plunder. Sure. Graveyard Trespasser. Sure. Once more. If we can top deck another creature here and get more Cabaretti Revel triggers, especially if we can get if we can get our hands on a Jetmir or a Rabble Rousing right now, oh, get out of here. It's going to be gross. In the most beautiful way. And at this point, I'm actually willing to attack all. Even with the Saboteur Death Touch blocker back, I'm willing to throw Maja into that. Well, you know what? We are still going to get a Maja trigger. That's nice. I'll take it. More lands, thin at the deck, create more tokens. Which gives more Gala Greeters action. Alright, here we go. This is apparently a decent matchup for us. I wouldn't have guessed that, frankly. Yeah, I think we just gotta go for it. We're gonna draw a ton of cards off Toski. We have a ton of mana back. Maya's probably not gonna survive this little tussle, but that's okay. Yep. Especially if we draw into another copy. That'd be ideal, right? Alright, they trade the boss for the Gardener. So I got one of the pups with the Graveyard Trespasser. Then Acquisitions Expert's gonna soak up 5 there. Yeah, or I would have put it in front of the Gala Greeters, personally. Unless they have a kill spell. Ooh, Undying Malice on the Saboteur. That's interesting. We're gonna get in for a fair amount of damage and draw oh, down to 1. Holy cow. I hadn't actually done the math there. Saboteur returns tapped. Doing the thing. We got another Toski. I'm not playing that out. With the boss, Gala Greeters, Jetmir. Mother flippin' Jetmir in the building, everybody. I'm not doing it. Let's go. Another Gala Greeters. Yeah, this... And we got a Brutal Cathar even. Good lord. Let's get the Saboteur out of here. Back Alley Gardener, some more Revel triggers. Holy Gala Greeters, Batman. And another Tenacious P. Yeah, Gala Greeters like MVP in here. You know what? I'm doing it. I think we're out of Tenacious Pups, so this Revels isn't going to find us anything, but that's okay. Let's get a couple more Gala triggers. I think we've proven our point. Yeah, you got a board wipe. I mean, you get a Blood on the Snow. Even Toski's gonna, Toski's still an issue. But other than that, yeah, nah, that was perfect. That was exactly what we came here to do. So let's see if we can do that again. Let's go on to the next game. I like starting with Cabaretti Revels in my opening hand. I like starting with Tenacious Pup in my opening hand. I like starting with Gala Greeters in my opening hand. I do not like starting with Jetmir in my opening hand. Not at all. It's a very powerful card and can win a lot of games, especially with Cabaretti Revels online. But this is dependent on us drawing 2 lands really early. I'm thinking this is probably, I should mulligan this. I'm going to keep it and see what happens. I'm going to be hopeful here. We're going to risk it. Keeping a 2-lander here is pretty risky. If we can draw into a 3rd land of any kind, the Back Alley Gardener can come online and then potentially do some good work for us. So, you know, the Greeters is fine. It can create some treasures again if we're able to get more creatures online. So, could be worse. Could be a million times better, but it could be worse. Do they not realize that the Tenacious Pup has 2 toughness? I am very curious as to why they attacked there. That looked like it's just an old misplay. I think they just thought Tenacious Pup was a 1/1. And we can go Gala Greeters into Gala Greeters. Toralf's Disciple is going to swing in, make a bunch of lightning bolts. Sure. Come on in, homie. Welcome to my face. No lands. No me gusta. Gala Greeters is going to create the treasure token, which is nice. That means we have the Gardener next turn, which is something, but it's not exactly sustainable if we don't get our hands on some lands. I mean, the double Gala Greeters can pump out a bunch of treasures, so that's definitely something. But they're also just building up a ton of lightning bolts. This is not ideal either. I'm gonna go Gardener here. So we have these treasure tokens. If we draw into a land, big if, but if we draw into a land, we can Cabaretti Revels into Jetmir. If we Cabaretti Revels into Jetmir, our opponent's gonna have a lot of pain and a lot of frustration coming at him. This is not ideal. All right, Tenacious Pup, thank you for your service. Appreciate you. Cathar's not bad. This is Ward 1. We can Revels into Cathar. That actually isn't bad. That's actually quite sweet. Let's do it. Some triggers. Let's go. I'm gonna get Urbrask out of here because I don't want them drawing 2 cards next turn. That is no bueno. Severely lacking in buenos. And I want my buenos, dang it. Does that make any sense? I'm pretty sure it doesn't, but here we are. Alright, they are playing Boros. They can have access to a lot of different removal to deal with that Brutal Cathar, but I feel like we're in pretty decent shape here. Nahiri. Heir of the Ancients. Probably gonna -2 here and draw into another... I also realized they're running... Oh, they kill our Gala Greeters. Okay. Rewards for equipment and equipment you control. Okay, rock on. Fair enough, opponent. Fair enough. We can't Revels into Jetmir, or Revels into another Jetmir. That would be a little greedy. And don't get me wrong, I love getting greedy. I would love to do that, but we literally can't. We don't have that option. All right. We got some Vigilantes coming at him. I want to take Nahiri out. I don't like our opponent having Planeswalkers. This cannot be allowed to stand. Tenacious Pup trading with the War Leader. And Toralf's Disciple trading with it. Actually, taking out the Gala Greeters makes sense. I can't blame him there. But getting rid of Toralf's Disciple feels pretty good. Now, At this point, Moo Cow Cow, our opponent, has a library with like what 6-8 lightning bolts in it. Like hence the reason that they have 66 cards in their deck right now. You know, at first I was like, wait a minute, they have so many cards in their deck, and then I realized, oh yeah, because they've been just feeding it with yeah, they've been absolutely feeding it with lightning bolts. All right, I want to do this because I want the double Revels. Yes, I'm sure. Got him. Yes, our opponent has seen enough. All right. So that's the deck. That's what the deck is trying to do. It's trying to get out of hand with some crazy good value. Thanks for making it to the end of the video. I appreciate it very, very much. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe down below. It makes a huge difference. And please leave a comment as well. That helps feed the algorithm and do all the YouTube things. I appreciate it very, very much. And with that, I would like to give a huge thank you and a huge shout out to my lovely patrons. So I want to give, just huge props and thank you to everybody who has supported on Patreon. It makes this channel hum and really helps me out a lot, and actually gets me closer to going full time, which means a lot, and I appreciate it very, very much. And I want to give a special shout out to my mythic patrons at the $10 level, and that is Dream Dragon Ari, Else89, the Master of Scoots, and Silent Labber. Thank you so much and thank you all to all the patrons for helping keep me going. And if you would like your name to appear on this list, you can do so for as little as $1 a month. The link is in the description. Please check that out. I appreciate it very, very much. So thank you again, and I'll catch you on the next one.